Okay, let's go to page 1. Eggleston versus Stuart, case number A167489119-C.
Morning, Your Honor. Paola Armeni, appearing on behalf of Mr. Eggleston.
Good morning, Your Honor. Felicia Galati, appearing from Clark County, and Georgina Stuart.
Okay, counsel, we're here on status check on trial readiness, and I have you number 1 on the stack to commence January 2nd of 2024. It is a jury trial, and the case has been continued or set 5 times. Are we ready to go?
We're ready to go. We're not ready to go. Recently, Your Honor, if I may speak first.
Sure.
Okay. Recently, plaintiff dumped 1,202 pages of medical records on us regarding the child Hunter Eggleston. There were 824 pages produced from Sunrise Hospital, and there were 378 pages of records produced from St. Rose Hospital. You may recall, because you signed the order, that Commissioner Gans was able to help us to try to get that done. Our position is that plaintiff should have produced all of the records prior to that time under Rule 16.1, because this entire case is about the plaintiff's paternity rights and the 2 boys at issue. During the time of this case, he was hospitalized 3 times. There was 3 CPS reports which related to his hospitalization and or referred to his hospitalization. In receiving the Sunrise Hospital records, and I have not been able to review the 800 pages, I looked at the first couple of pages and I saw that plaintiff signed a release for his lawyer to get the records from the hospital on December 6, 22. Sunrise issued an invoice for those records on December 10, 22. They didn't produce them until August 23rd, 2023. They sat on them for 8 months. We had to take depositions. We didn't have the benefit of those records for those depositions. Discovery is closed. We could have taken hospital depositions as well. I don't even know what's in there. All I know is that they had them a long time ago and they didn't produce them, and they should have produced them. So that's the first problem. The other problem is I have 3 experts. 2 are out of state and 1 is in Reno. One of my experts, and I haven't been able to reach the others. One of my experts, Toby Lester, lives in North Carolina and is not available between December 21st and January 1st. So we're not going to be able to prepare him before this trial starts. And so that's another reason we're asking for a later January date. I'm not asking.
Well, it's a 5-week stack, so you guys get to pick what you guys want on that 5-week stack.
I thought when you said January 1st and we're number 1, we have to go January 1st.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
You got a 5-week stack.
So we're able to pick another date in January?
Yeah.
I was going to suggest January 22nd.
Well, not now. You can't.
Okay, I know,
You're going to do it at the pretrial conference.
I know, but I just
Wait. Don't interrupt the judge, counsel. When we get to the pretrial conference calendar call, then I'll know how many trials I've got. You guys are number 1, and you are definitely my priority. And let me tell you what I've got right now in terms of. Right now I've got 10 on that stack. And you guys are definitely number 1, so you'll be able to pick, you'll be able to massage things around your experts, and I will be, if I have to, I will be stacking the other ones around you.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know. I thought when you said we are number 1 on the January 1st stack, that means we go January 1st.
And it would be January 2nd.
Okay.
But that's when the stack starts.
Understood.
No, I've got bench trials in here. I've got you guys. How long do you think the case will take to try? You probably just heard what my availability is.
I did.
And?
It doesn't change my mind. I think it's still 10 days. But, Your Honor, I'm going to tell you right now, because I've already told Ms. Galati this when she asked me if we could move it to the end of January. I have a trial set before Judge Williams. I doubt we're first on the stack, but I have it the first week of February. So I'm inclined, just so the court knows at this stage, and I'll address some of Ms. Galati's comments as to why she needs the extra time, but I'm not inclined to go further in the month because I have this other trial.
Well, you guys could probably sit down before the pretrial conference calendar call because the case is settled, things happen. Is this a med-mal case?
My other case, no, Your Honor.
Okay. Wait, is it a firm date or what?
It's not a firm date. We were just in front of him yesterday and he was asking us and I said, well, I have this case. This is priority. And he said, okay, let me know. But I am on that stack as well. And I'm prepared to go to trial in that case too.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys will be able to give me a sense at the pretrial conference calendar call.
Sure.
Okay. And you wanted to make some comments.
I do, Your Honor. First of all, I mean, as far as Mr. Lester, it may not matter now, but at the time the court set this trial, they hadn't retained Mr. Lester yet. So as far as him not being available, that should have been a discussion when they retained him as to when our trial dates are. As to the Sunrise records and the Eggleston records, they are one of the minors' records. She knew that I got them because I told her that during the discovery commissioner. I got one set of the records. However, we're going to be filing a motion in limine anyways because we don't believe that these are even relevant to this case. If they were relevant, the caseworker or DFS would have requested them back when this case was an ongoing case. They never did it because they weren't important. Hunter being in the hospital had nothing to do with the removal of the children. Nothing. But that's besides the point. So on June 5th of 2023 is when Ms. Galati sent us a request for production for medical records. We then responded to the request on June 23rd of 2023, advising that we didn't think, we used the language where we didn't think it went to any of her claims or defenses. A month later, she sent me a meet and confer letter. Right after the meet and confer letter, her and I spoke and I gave her my opinion. She gave me her opinion. And then on 8/7, so August 7th, we had the informal hearing with the discovery commissioner. At that time, he said, you know what, get the records. I advised him and Ms. Galati at that time, I already had the Sunrise records, but I didn't think they were relevant to this case. And he said, okay, well, you need to request the St. Rose records because we're dealing with two different sets. I said, okay, that's fine. He said, you get them, you review them, and then if you want to redact them, do a privileged log. So the next day on August 8th, I requested the St. Rose records. We produced the Sunrise records on August 23rd, and then discovery, she's correct, August 30th, discovery closed. I was in trial. That was the day I got the St. Rose records, and then the following day we produced them. I will tell you, I personally reviewed the St. Rose records the Sunrise records, the 800 and something pages, which I advised Ms. Galati are actually duplicates. There's two sets in there. I personally reviewed the records. My associate reviewed the other records from St. Rose. It can be done in an afternoon. It sounds like a lot of records. There's not a lot in there. So to say that that's justification to bump this case weeks, I don't know, unless it's going to take them a lot longer than our office took. But we've reviewed them. We did it in an afternoon, and we were able to produce them. So I'll leave it with that, Your Honor.
Okay.
We disagree on the relevance to the case, and so did the discovery commissioner, and we now have an order about that. So that issue is gone. But I'll tell you, I just looked at the first few pages of the records, and guess what's in those Sunrise Hospital records? The temporary guardianships that are an issue in this case, they're not relevant to this case? I don't think so. We can argue about that at another time. And just because the caseworker didn't order records when this case had a very short lifespan, because it ended up being either a potential removal or a guardianship, doesn't mean they weren't important. Those children, the first option was the children were going to be removed. If they were removed, anything could have been ordered after that time. But they weren't removed because the family decided to sign the guardianship. So to say they're not relevant is beyond.
Well, it looks like I'm going to see an upcoming motion.
We will, Your Honor.
All right, but right now we are on the January 2nd stack. It's a 5-week stack. And like I said, I will massage it. Whenever we get to the pretrial conference calendar call, you guys are going to be able to pick.
Since we're not agreeing, and probably that's not going to change, do I need to file a motion before the pretrial calendar call?
Well, on this particular issue, I would think so if you're trying to exclude them.
Oh, no, I meant for a later January trial date.
You don't need to do that.
Okay.
You will just tell me what you want for that January stack, and it works January 2nd through, let's see. My next stack starts February 5th.
Your Honor, when's our calendar call? I know I have it. My concern is getting, frankly, the sooner the better, because I have my clients in England. So I can't wait last minute for him to make flight arrangements to come here.
Okay, it will, it's the 20th of December.
So that puts us in a little bit of a dilemma. Because right now I was waiting for today. He's going to make his arrangements. If I have him come, as of right now, I need him for the 2nd because we don't know any different. But that's going to mean that he'll stay here.
Well, that's why hopefully you guys can sit down and say, hey, let's see if we can't do this time frame, okay? And then you can make your arrangements. He may have to be here a little longer than he anticipated, but if the 2nd is not going to work for both of you, then I get it. I mean, right now all I can give you is a 5-week stack, and you can have just about any time that you want during that time. I am taking a few days off during that time, but I will be here most of the month. Okay? So I'm convinced I can get you guys tried during that month.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And by the way, if you've got people that are someplace else, I have no problem if they testify by blue jeans. Now, I know live is way, way better, but it is an option.
We have other witnesses aside from Mr. Eggleston who don't live here, that live in Illinois, so we're going to have to arrange for that as well.
Okay. I understand. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.